right. We'll give it one more second here while we go live on Facebook. Let everybody log in. All right. While we get started, I want to first of all say welcome to another session of the MSP Initiative. Very excited to be here. I know George had quite a bit going on today, so I'm going to jump in with my friend Ken here, who I know everyone's very familiar with. For those of you who are not, Ken, you want to do a quick intro?
Oh, sure. I'm sure everybody's not sick of hearing me now, but Ken Patterson, PAX 8, Director of Channel Community. And, if you're a PAX 8 partner, I'm a resource to you. But even if you're not a PAX 8 partner, just in general, big proponent of our community. And I think Alec can say the same about bvoip and all of us. We really care more about the community as a whole than anything else.
I will say that is spot on. Ken is definitely a huge resource at PAX 8. I mean, anytime that I see anybody with a question about any of your products, you are the first person that's either tagged in or comments in anywhere it's posted, which is awesome. It's really great to see you have that relationship with the community. And past that, I've seen you talk to plenty of partners who are not PAX 8 partners and help them out and give them tips and tricks. And it's just a really cool pay it forward attitude. So always love getting to work with you. And I always love these sessions. I'm always excited to jump in. I mean, bvoip, started these a long time ago and then evolved into the MSP Initiative, and there's quite a bit going on. And, I know we put together these agendas and the ideas of what we can talk about in the industry. And, as always, guys, Q&A, chat, it's all open. If you guys have anything you want us to talk about, or you have anything you want to put in about.
Speaking of that, Alec, real quick. Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy? Jeff just sent a shout out there in the session.
I did just see that. So with all these, if you have anything you want us to highlight, talk about, throw it in the chat, throw it in the QA. We're keeping an eye on those. But today's agenda, I was very excited about. Ken, I know we've been working on this. You've been involved quite a bit, and we've been working on this, building this out for quite a few months. And today's the day we get to talk about it, which is really exciting and good timing. We're about 30 days out. Ken, you want to pull off the curtain?
Pull off the curtain. That's dangerous to say to me, Alec. So we're excited and proud to say that the tour bus is back on. Channel Strong Positive Vibes Tour is starting back up again here in March. We are going to kick things off in March 15th in Texas. We are picking places that are somewhat open so that we, like we did last year, we were very careful. We wanted to make sure we were methodical about what we did, how we did it. But we are starting out in Texas. So if you're in Texas, New Orleans, Florida area, Atlanta,
all of Florida, yeah.
Make sure that you send us a note, because we'll definitely love to get you guys invited out to these events. We do have a cap. We still do respect the locations that we're at. So we will have caps based on the location we're at. I don't see too many caps happening in Florida and Texas just yet, but we still abide by them. We want to make sure we're doing it right. So make sure you get registered early so that you're in and there's not that issue if it does come up. But we're just crazy excited. I'm crazy proud that, George and team and myself and the vendors that are involved pulled this together again, because it really truly is about the MSPs, right? It's about them. It's about bringing some life and some love out to the partners that we're not necessarily getting right now, right? My whole tagline on this has been, we're taking the best part of events that we can't go to because they're not happening and bringing them right to you, the MSP. So don't think you're going to get sold to or pitched at these events. That's not going to happen. Anybody who knows me knows that's not my approach on anything. We want you to come out, have a good time, play some games, have a drink, eat some food. And then if you're chatting with someone, just like the lobby bars and the hallways at the events where we have those great conversations. It's what I accredit my being able to sell my MSP in the past and helping other MSPs grow their business from all those conversations with smart folks like you guys, the fellow MSPs.
100%. No, I think that's a great way to describe it. I mean, this is literally the lobby bar on wheels. And it's a really cool vibe. If you weren't able to attend last time, or if you're out there somewhere and you're in a fun city and you want us to come by, we are doing this quarterly. So that is the other part of the announcement. First one kicks off, and actually I'm going to ask Dave from my team who's on this if she could throw up the dates.
I'll throw up
the dates and the cities in the chat for everybody. But yeah, it's exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're starting with we're actually going to start in Plano, Texas, moving out to Fort Worth. We're going to do San Antonio, Houston. Um, we're doing New Orleans, as Ken mentioned, and then heading over to, there it is. Then we're heading out to Florida. So we're going to do full loop through Florida, Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville. We're actually going up to Atlanta. That's where we're going to wrap up the tour. So a lot of great
Here you go,
areas.
Jeff Lee. We're going to wrap up in your hometown, buddy. We know we'll see you out there again.
So yeah, if you weren't able to attend last time, keep an eye out. Head over to mspinitiative.com. If not, and you want more information on it, if you're on this webinar right now, we will make sure that you get the information. It should be going out this week with all the sign up pages. As Ken said, we are going to respect those. And that's something that was really cool about this, right? And Ken, I've been talking to a lot of the vendors and all the MSPs on this. One of the constant questions I was getting, and I think we should go through a couple of those, a little bit of an FAQ on this, but one of the biggest ones is always, what do you do with coronavirus, right? Things are constantly moving target, and that's 100% true. And that's probably one of the reasons this is one of the hardest things we've ever had to plan, but also the most rewarding, the most fun, just because of the culture and community we get out of it. But looking at these cities, I mean, you guys diverted last year. I mean, it happened, and you guys were so professional, so good with it. I love the fact that you didn't just scrap the day, right? I mean, you guys reach out to those MSPs, you let them know, and you move to another city due to coronavirus restrictions. And that was really cool to see how well we were able to kind of shift that on the road. And we'll be doing the same, right? I mean, if it happens, it happens. We hope to see every single one of you. And, if we can't, then, we'll be back. This is a fun thing. And I don't see this ending anytime soon.
No, it's definitely not ending anytime soon.
Absolutely not. For anybody who didn't get to attend last time, do you want to kind of run through, maybe we'll just do a full day in life, right? I mean, obviously we said we're traveling at night. So let's start with the morning, right? What does the tour look like? What can people expect? Is there anything you should plan for?
So, I mean, we try to do as much around the event as we possibly can. Now, everybody has jobs to do on top of being at this event. So some days can be a little bit different than others. For myself, I'm doing mission briefings on some of these days. So I'm, the whole day I'm sitting in an office working with people remotely doing that event. But on other days, if we're in your city or town, reach out to us. If there's an opportunity for any one of the vendors to connect up and say hello, they'll be more than willing to do that. After it gets a little bit tricky because we're not sure how quickly we have to get to the next city. Say that when Alec talked about, the fun part of it, it really turned out to be a lot more work than we thought it was going to be, but the work was worth it. We really did have to dodge and move around a lot and pivot, which I mean, COVID, what was a bigger explanation for pivot, right? Than what COVID's done to everybody. We were pivoting so much last year that we don't know what we're going to be doing even that day, that night, to make sure that things are going well at the event. But I would say, reach out. Don't feel like, we're always going to be super busy. Reach out. I know for me personally, I would love to see you guys separate from the event, or if you can't make it out, but you're going to be, have time during the day, reach out, let us know. Any one of the vendors would love to see the partners. Everybody that's on this bus is there for one reason, and it's for the community. Everything else is all in line. It really is for the community. So make sure you reach out for that, because we are around during the day. There are some vendors doing lunch and learns. I'm sure you can check in with MSP Initiative on those things and see if you can make a lunch and learn. It's separate from the bus thing. It's its own thing. But still educational, and we'll have 3 vendors there doing presentations and lunch. For the tour itself, we're just set up before everybody gets there. We have tents with swag. We have plenty of swag. George, I think, might have took the trophy last year for the best swag. He had the giant bear mugs. Actually, hold on, I got one right here.
Oh, the monstrous ones. Yeah, I've got those.
I mean, come on. Look at that.
They're
That's
heavy.
pretty amazing. Yeah. Clearly, this isn't my daily driver. That's in the freezer, but this is my spare. I think George might have won for the swag, and you don't have to fill it with beer. It fits root beer just fine. But totally amazing swag. You'll have a chance to grab drinks, whether it be root beer or beer. We have drinks at the event, and we'll have cornhole boards set up. And it's at the end of the day, because we know how many of you can stop in the middle of the day, grab a beer and play some cornhole and then go back to work. Probably doesn't work out. So we're typically at the end of the day, 4 o'clock and before it gets dark. And we have cornhole, we have football games, and we just have great conversations. A lot of fun, maybe ribbing each other a little bit, stuff that you're not seeing right now through the whole event. And again, you just want to hang out and talk. Great. If you want to talk to a specific vendor, grab them, pull them aside and have a conversation. There's just no pressure. No one's going to be trying to push a sale. If there's something that you need, go talk to somebody. We would love to have those conversations blossom. I mean, last year we had relationships grow between the MSPs. Had nothing to do with the vendor part, just bringing you all together. We had MSPs start working together and doing things together. It was great. And then on top of that, the one thing that I want to make sure that you all know is we're trying to do stuff for your community as well. So we hire the local food trucks and we try to inject them with a little bit of cash flow. We try to get the booze local if it's at all possible. And we also have a great food drive. Your admission for coming to the event is a couple of canned goods. If you want to bring more, you can bring more. It's all going to the local food bank of the host MSP's choosing. I think that's one of the coolest things we've seen. I mean, we saw one of the MSPs decided that they'd give $5 a can. I don't think that they really thought through how many cans we would get. They were very gracious. They wrote a check and they brought the food out to their food bank. So they got cash and the food. We had an MSP who forgot their cans. And I'm like, it's just a couple cans. We have extras. We'll throw them in. He's like, no. Give me the address. He shipped a pallet of food to the food bank. So, I mean, that's just typical our community, what we do and how we do it, why I love being a part of it. So that's the coolest thing. Bring your canned goods out to the event. If you can't get out, have someone drop them off, or you can't have the time, drop off the canned goods at the very least. We want to make sure that the local communities that we're going into understand that we're being safe, we're being responsible, and we want to give back. We want to thank you for having us into each one of these communities. So Alec knows I can get all choked up about that part of this because it was something that's near and dear to my heart. My local city that I grew up in, inner city, was crushed by COVID. The food bank they had lines down the street. They didn't have enough food. And when I saw that and was trying to help with that local, I thought, wow, maybe if we could do this nationally. And along comes a bus and George Bardisi behind the wheel, it's too blue on the horn. Let's do this. What an opportunity for us to do that. So yeah, I could go on and on forever from that standpoint, but at the very least, drop some cans off and we'll get those over to the local food bank. But we would love to see your faces. We would love to have the conversations. I'm not going to say it like I don't care, but it doesn't matter if you're a Pax8 partner. It doesn't matter if you're a bvoip partner. It doesn't matter if you're an MSP and you want to get out, have a little bit of good time, great conversation with other MSPs as well, maybe learn some stuff. Come on out. I really do. I believe it's not time wasted at all. It's a couple of hours and you don't have to stay the whole couple of hours, even if you don't want to, but come out, grab some food, grab a drink, and have some great conversation.
So I was taking a couple notes here. You hit on a lot of good points. One of the first ones I want to hit on, you talked about pulling these vendors. We have some great vendors joining us. We were lucky enough to team up with the guys over at Pax8 who work with amazing vendors. So we're able to see some great products there and some great vendors to bring on the road with us. Rocket Cyber, Compliancy Group, team over to Cronus. So we got a lot of people joining us, which is really exciting. We have the full list on our website, but I think that is a great opportunity. I mean, that is something that I know, being a vendor and being on the vendor side for many years, people used to capitalize on that all the time. We'd be at a show, they'd pull us aside, whether it was you had some weird support issue or you just had a question about, for us, right, we're a sell-through product. We get questions all the time and, hey, can you help me scope out this, this sale and things like that. Just be able to do it in person is definitely a lot easier, a lot more fun. We enjoy
Yeah. Why not have a little bit of fun when you have to ask these questions? Plus, You guys know, I mean, I was an MSP for a very long time. Being stuck in the weeds sometimes doesn't allow you the same opportunity as when you're face to face with someone, you're in a group and you have that second to do that. Matt Scully on Facebook apparently posted that your Sir Alex mug is filled with Manhattans. So I love that.
At least he
I think
knows.
Matt knows you well, Alec. I don't know.
He does know me well. And actually, the Mail Protector team is going to be joining us at all those lunch learns in Q1. So definitely excited to see Matt Scully on the road, and
Yep.
partners with him again will be a lot of fun. So that's just another great personality, another great person that you'll be running into on the road, which is really fun. The other one that you touched on is the economy angle of this, and that's something that our industry is huge and massive, and our industry overall has done pretty well. But the part, unless you're on that team, you're on that marketing team, that sales team, or that revenue ops team, you're not really looking at the position of what this is doing to the economy. I mean, there's the tiers and the ripple effect of this is huge from our trade shows being gone, and having this as its own little traveling. I mean, it's no DattoCon by any means in terms of size, but having that economy stimulation is great. And you're right, we do aim really, really heavily towards local stuff. I mean, I know Sade from our team's amazing, and she's working with the MSPs that are hosting us to find out great locations for food. And is there a favorite restaurant that we can help you with? And we're trying to find that small business we can help support in this time. And I know for us, we're making sure to, obviously we don't really have much of an option to cook on the road. So being in a
We
bus.
did think about that, Alec. It did come up. We were trying to think if we could fit a grill on the bus. The first go around, we thought about that in a couple of places. And actually, because we were in places, where the people were willing to cook, we almost had a couple of shots where they're like, let us pull out the grill. I'm like, no, we don't want you to do the work. Like we want this to be easy for you. But the food truck option separate from the lunch and learns was a big one too, because we were in Memphis, I believe, and the food truck driver was literally in tears talking about how he hadn't had much business roll through. And this was a great thing that we were doing to help him and his wife out. And by the way, they had phenomenal food on this food truck. It was a pizza truck, believe it or not, in Memphis. And the pizza was a guy who's a pizza snob, and I think you are too, Alec. Pizza in Memphis, which I can't even believe these words are leaving my lips, but the pizza in Memphis was really good. And it was tremendous to see folks like that who were directly affected by just a little bit of cash being pumped into their pockets that they weren't getting. And it was raining that day too. We had a blast. We were outside, under the tents, and then they had a little awning that we kind of stepped under to do the interview with this gentleman. And I will definitely get choked up every time I think about him and his wife and how cool they were. Just really down to earth, fun people that stopped their everyday life to go run a pizza truck.
Love that. Yeah, there's a barbecue restaurant near me. They were both teachers, and their big thing was they take a trip every year, and they loved barbecue. And that was one of those things they bonded over. And they both left their teaching jobs and opened up an amazing barbecue food truck that eventually moved on to a great restaurant up here. And I mean, I've been doing what I can, trying to order out at least once a week, right, and help support those businesses. So it's pretty cool to see what we can do with this big order.
I'm just doing that because I'm fat, Alec. Sorry.
That's another option.
Real quick, let's say hello to Robin Miller. She popped onto Facebook to see some friendly faces. Sade's because I can't see Facebook right now. But hey, Robin, nice to see you. Thank you for being at Stops last time around. So always good to see friendly faces pop in, or at least friendly voices or texts, because can't see anything else. Alec, I mean, there's so many. Like, even we were joking around about calling it the Positive Vibes Tour because it sounded a little hokey and weird, but at the same time, it was such a positive thing that was going on. It was bigger than just the MSP community. It was just people who had no clue what we were doing would walk over and say, hey, what are you guys doing? And when we would explain the food bank and the food truck and talking about the partners and, making the partners feel good. And they're like, geez, I wish someone in our industry would do that. It was kind of, we had bankers come out of the bank and walk over to us and talk to us. And George was having this whole conversation with them, and they were amazed at what we were doing. We actually had a whole office building full of HR folks who amazingly gave us the thumbs up, which I thought at first she was going to say, are you guys doing this to be, And then she was paying attention. She said, this is actually done very, very well outdoors with the separation and how we had everything set up. And she was very impressed with that. But then she was like, all this is also really cool. She goes, I don't know if you know it, but HR people love to party.
So do MSPs.
I said, so do MSPs. That's we're down here. We invited them to come down, but I'm pretty sure someone upstairs probably said no. But yeah, she went back into the office and told all their friends and stuff. But it was interesting to see other industries kind of be like, hey, what are you guys doing over here? What's going on? And when we tell them, they're just completely blown away. And I feel like the same way. Like I'm blown away every time we talk about it. Every time we think about, hey, can we do this again? Can we roll this out next year? You know, and also what's it going to look like when things clear up? Well, my answer to that is that's one of the biggest questions. I don't know if that's on your FAQ, Alec, but one of the biggest questions was, okay, this is great. Love that this is happening. But what happens when things clear up? Well, my answer to that is it gets bigger and funner. That's the way I look at it.
100%.
Restrictions put us in, right? The restrictions put us in certain buckets. We have to do things a certain way. We have a blast, but we got to do it within reason, and we got to do it within size. And but I'll tell you this: if any of you know George Bardisi and Alec, they know how to have a party, and when the time is right. And I still believe we're not going to have ragers where we're squished together, shoulder to shoulder, but I do believe that we're going to have some pretty cool parties when this opens up and we're on the road for the second half of the year. So make sure you're on the lookout for those as well. We're not going to stop when COVID stops. We want to make this be a regular thing and extend it out to all of you, as many places around the country as we can get to.
Absolutely. And you know, that's a huge thing. It's definitely a question that comes up quite a bit. It's kind of like, well, what's going to happen? What does the year look like? You hit it on its head. I don't, my personal opinion, from what I'm seeing in the vaccination rate, and apparently now New York has bought enough vaccines for every adult, which is pretty cool. So if that keeps going and progresses that way, I could see us clearing up by the end of the year. Hopefully, get in maybe an IT Nation, you know, some more
exchange, maybe exchange at the exchange IT Nation. Those are those end of year, you know, great conferences. And look, one thing about the conferences in general, we just had our, you know, our little internal event, and we always bring this up. Don't not go to these events because of one small reason. Don't let that hold you back. These events are where all your peers are. So get to these events. That's why this is such a big deal, what we're talking about. You want to get to a place where you can talk to your peers, see what they're going through, talk to them about it, tell them what you're going through. There's ways to share to make everybody's business better, and this is the way to do it. So getting to this event and getting to all the events, going to IT Nation, going to Exchange, going to DattoCon, going to a Wingman, hopefully sometime when we get past all this. Going to events isn't just about, and I don't want to go there and drink from the fire hose. Believe me, I was that guy. I used to go there and feel like I was getting hit in the face with a sledgehammer with information. I get that part. But if done right, where you can go to enough of the right sessions and do the right things, the biggest thing is go there and meet the other MSPs. And by the way, there are some pretty cool vendors that want to help. We have a lot of them on this bus, just happens to be the case because we told them up front, we're not going out there to sell. We're going out there to spread some love, basically, and do it very responsibly. So, yeah, man, I think everybody can see that I'm pretty excited about this. I wear my heart on the sleeve. I love what we're doing with this. And I believe events are also something super important, not just our event, but events in general. Get out there, get to these events, meet people, and see what's going on. You're not going to get that same interaction in any virtual. And I'll say that even about my own. I have a community call every Thursday, and George is on there, and Alec's on there, and the community's on there. It's just a whole wide open thing. And even that just doesn't quite touch where you could be in person, and I'm talking to someone, and I say, can I grab you for a second? Go have that side conversation, then pop back into the big conversation. Those things are never going to be duplicated. I do think the virtual does help now because we're doing way more than we used to do, but the in-person will never be replaced.
No, absolutely not. And that's, I think, one of the most critical things that are missing from this. You know, hallway chat. Hallway chat was always the one that was thrown around, or the bar chat. And you're right, being able to pull somebody aside and hear about how they grew or what they're doing. The truth is, we're all business owners, we're all entrepreneurs. We all want to see each other grow. And I get the competitiveness of your own backyard, but you know, one of the things that's cool that's happening on this tour is we are traveling globally, or you know, all the country right now. And you know, for us, while we're going, city to city, we're hearing this feedback. We're hearing what people are doing. And honestly, well, yes, you don't get that same level. I will say Ken's Pax8 community call is phenomenal. Definitely worth checking out. I've heard some unbelievable tips, tricks, ideas on there. So that's Thursdays at 3 Eastern. Definitely worth joining if you have any info. If you want any info on that, hit Ken up on Facebook. Post in the chat here. We can definitely make sure to get you guys involved. But that is an awesome call. Love being on there. I've learned a lot, heard a lot, and that's one of the things I think I'm most excited for with this tour is when we go city to city and we talk to these people, we have those one-on-one conversations. We're bringing that information, and we're not giving away your trade secrets, but the stuff you're comfortable with, we're bringing it to the next city, and we're helping the MSP industry by sharing that. And that comes out in
Yeah.
these interviews. You'll see a lot of those come from the road.
Trade secrets. That's the funny part about it. Listen, every MSP is smart people, every MSP is using certain vendors. It's all about the education and how you deliver. We talk about this all the time, where you don't see doctors competing with each other over patients. And that's what we want to get to. We want to get to the point where we have the regulations, we have the accreditations, and our customers value what we do and what we say, right? And yeah, sure, there's going to be bad doctors out there that you don't go back to, but for the most part, we're not seen as doctors in our area. And this just came up on a question on Facebook today, and I said the same thing. And I know Matt Lee buys, and so many of us buy into this, but it's true. Your doctor gives you a prescription and you take it. You don't question it. You don't say, I'm going to take this one and not that one. It doesn't work that way. And that's how we have to get to that level of value. We're going there to seek their advice because it's something we need. It's not a sale. We're not trying to sell anything, and we're not worried. Doctors aren't worried about what you think. They're going to tell you you're fat, you're overweight, you have high blood pressure, and you need to fix it. And this is how you do it. They're not worried about what you think. We can't be doing that either. We have to be worried about their business, the overall. It's like the doctors are worried about our health, right? So don't worry about that piece. George calls it the castle mentality, when everything's held inside the wall and you don't want to share. I'll tell you right now, after this trip, we were running numbers on the stories. We were pulling together the stories, and we were talking about a number of things. But one of the things that came up was the MSPs that are working with other MSPs and sharing this information have had an increase in revenue of up to 40%. I think the number was total. And this is just rough numbers. Think about that for a second. And it's no coincidence. It's not just that they did something different or whatever. It was really directly related to working with other MSPs, getting information, applying the things that worked for them, because not everybody's the same. There's no silver bullet. You hear me say that all the time. So get out there, talk to other MSPs, share a little bit. Don't be worried about sharing. What you do in your area and how you do it is what separates you. And if you're just going out and delivering value and being that educational mouthpiece in your area, you'll be fine. There's plenty of business to go around. I'll tell you that right now. I used to not think that, but there it is.
Tons of business to go around, and like the doctors, I mean, your bedside manner speaks to a lot, right? If you're horrible to work with, then yeah, I would be nervous about working with a competitor, because I'd be worried that I've been treating my customers like crap, and they could leave at any second if the right offer comes along. But I mean, that shouldn't be the case, and I hope you're thinking about that, and you're actively building those relationships with your clients. If your clients respect you and they're bringing you into more and more conversations, and if you've got one single service, you're selling them antivirus and nothing else, then they're probably not that sticky. And I get being weird around it. But if you're actively growing your business, you're actively growing, how much you're working with that client, and that client's bringing you into, the goal there is to be that business advisor, in the end,
Right.
and advise them on more than just the technology, right? Help them plan for the future and future proof and all those things. If they trust you, it doesn't matter what another competitor flashes by or they see another competitor's name, it's not going to break them.
Right. That happens in the spaces where, like you stated, if you're just throwing technology at them, that's where they're going to start asking around. When I finally learned that lesson, it was, wow, things are a little bit easier now. I'm not so worried about everybody, because if they're leaving, it's because I'm doing something wrong, or I want them to leave. Those are the only two reasons. It's not because they found somebody else that said they were better or lower price or any of that. I didn't do my job if they're leaving because of that.
Yep.
Oh, or I wanted them to go, right? If they're going for price, then they weren't a customer I wanted to keep anyways. I was about the value. I want to have customers who valued what I did and understand that we were all in on their business. That was the only reason we're doing this, is for their business, right? The solution, not the product, right? So
Yeah, no, absolutely.
you're solving problems for them. And if you're doing it in the right way and you're becoming that trusted advisor, I know that's a cliche word, but if you're the one that points out, well, I know your business well enough to know that if this happens to you, you would not be happy with this loss and this issue. This is what's going to fix it. Not the Charlie Brown teacher of technology. Wah, 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 wah. No, they're not listening. That's the Paul Redding. Paul Redding was the one that brought that one to light. He's right. They sound like Charlie Brown's teacher when you start spewing out technology.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to bring it down to their level. You've got to, don't get into the weeds on what it is, but be real with them. I mean, security is becoming easier and easier to sell because it's more and more at the front lines. People are seeing it, they're afraid of it, and you have to be ready and you have to be prepared. And as long as you're always evolving your offering and
Right.
you are always evolving how you're talking to them. I mean, here's the thing: if you talk to bvoip 5 years ago and you talk to us today, it's almost as if we pitched two different products. We essentially have. And, you know, that's should be the same as your MSP. I mean, you're always going to have your core, your backup and your RMM, but even those features should change and evolve. So I would encourage you to always be evolving those and just not worry about that. I mean, I've seen some amazing stuff with the co-managed IT, with MSPs teaming up with other MSPs just to expand their services offering and their area offering geographically. I mean, being able to say, hey, that's a little bit outside of our comfortable range. We don't want to drive an hour and a half to get to somebody, but hey, we know somebody out there, and if they find somebody that's a little bit on our side of that fence, then they pass us that business. And
Yeah, and that's happening in the community as part of this whole connection, right? We have partners in Texas and we have a partner in Utah, and the partner in Utah says, I need some help in Texas. Well, now they have someone they trust because they know they're part of the community and they're recommended by people that they know. And I think those relationships are really important. And we have, we talked on the call last week, right? We had Tim Choquette, who does a pretty specific thing with CGIS and then does a lot of other security things. And he's working with, the folks at Machine Logic, and he's working with Matt Lee. And then Matt Lee's working with, a bunch of MSPs, helping them form their security posture. So everybody out there, for the most part, is willing to help. Just make sure you're open to that. And then also don't jump in with both feet without making sure that the people offering the help have things that have worked for them too, because that can backfire. And I know that sometimes that's what's in the back of your mind, right? Oh, I don't want to go use these guys, and then they put me in the wrong direction, because I know that can derail plans for a very long time. But if you jump into the community and everybody agrees, oh, you got to talk to Matt Lee, for instance, or Tim Choquette, for instance, they're great resources from a security standpoint. You pretty much have a good idea that they're not going to get that seal of approval, at least not from me. I definitely know not Alec and George or any of the folks I know. We don't go around recommending people that don't work, because that's not good for us.
absolutely, yeah, no, I mean, for us, I mean, the cool thing with both Pax8 and with bvoip is we are both channel only products, right? So we grow by you growing. So if we can set up these relationships, if we can help you with, an opinion or make a connection, I mean, that's huge for us, because obviously that's helping you solidify your business and continue to grow, which, in turn benefits our companies, which is always the really cool kind of mutually assured destruction
Right.
of the channel, and helps us continue to keep these relationships going.
Well, it's funny that you say that too. You mentioned Pax8 and bvoip. We happen to be on the call, but again, Pax8 and bvoip have no relationship other than the professional relationship, right? That we know you folks, you know us. Maybe down the line that'll change, but I pointed out, because that just shows we're talking about community here. This isn't about going out and finding who's spending money with me and they're not, this, that, and the other thing. This was about mutually caring about the community, not about ourselves or our own businesses. In the end, that will all come back to you for being that way, I believe. When you put it out there positive, it comes back positive, and I really believe that that's true. So that's just one great thing that I see that we can point out, Alec, right? Is that, we have a professional relationship. I've known you for many years before bvoip. I've known George for many years. Of course, George and I have come closer through the bus experience last year. And so, yeah, it has nothing to do with any other ulterior motive. And I think that's what's really cool about this.
No, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's not, PAX 8's making a ton of money off bvoip or vice versa. It's that we both see each other work in the community, working with the partners, working for the partners. I've always loved that about you. Even when you were an MSP, you went out of your way to help other MSPs. And that's one of the things I thought was so cool with you joining the PAX 8 team and continuing to bring that culture and that experience in there. But I think that's one of the reasons we work together so well. I mean, George is one of those ones who I've seen George, I mean, as our CEO, get down to the level of, having somebody send him a polo, jumping on a call to help them pitch VoIP, just to teach him how it's done and help him get an opportunity closed. I mean, that's our mentality. That's always been our mentality. And even if we're a 600-person company, I think that'll still be our mentality. And that's really important to me. It's one of the reasons I'm here. But yeah, no, I think that's just goes to show why, all these things kind of circle back to why we took the tour on and why the tour is continuing. And, I mean, we've got a lot of great stuff coming up. I mean, all those other territories, we're going to cover the entire country this year, which is exciting and a little bit intimidating. It's a lot of miles.
Well, the length and width of the country, not all 50, or so states.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go into how many states because we only have so many that we could get to.
Yes. And while I love, the partners we have in North Dakota, I don't know if we'll make it out there, but we would love to.
I do love the people in North Dakota and South
Nice
Dakota, but we just can't get out to those places.
We can't. We'll try eventually. Eventually, I mean, that's one thing I'll say is like Northeast. That's on our docket for later in the year. We have a rough idea of cities. Obviously, I'm in the Northeast. Ken's in the Northeast. But do we have something locked down right now? Nope. We're still plotting out our cities, looking at the different, city to city numbers and making sure that we're in an area where we can service as many MSPs as possible. So shoot us a message, right? If you're in that area and you say that you think you'd love to have us in there, or maybe you'd like to host, shoot us a message. We're definitely open to that.
Yeah, 100%. Or, if we're someplace close, you can still come out. We've had, I don't recommend this because I'm not a big driver, but we have had people drive from New Orleans to Houston on a couple of occasions. We had someone come from Oklahoma to Fort Worth. So we've had people make some trips out. I'm sure they had other people to visit too, but yeah, if we're somewhat close, come on out, have a little bit of fun. Let us know you're coming out. If we're around, before the event, maybe we could, spend a little time and chat about it.
Grab lunch, lunch and learn, or
yeah, exactly. We really want to get see as many of you folks as we possibly can while we're on the road. It really, the face-to-face is just so missed and so cool. And we just can't wait until everything comes back full blown, but I still think the bus is going to be a part of that, even when all that comes back.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more. I mean, I think, the bus always has its place. I know our team every year, because we've got to coordinate travel and where everyone's going to be. And especially once the world is open again, I mean, we'll be doing international again. That's a whole other level of complication. So we always take around the fall time and we put together this master calendar of the year and where all the events are going to be, dates and cities and everything. And we'll plot it out in a calendar. Once that's in and we get those major events, then you'll start seeing us plot out which weeks we're going to do the tour. In 2022, who knows where we'll be? Hopefully, double the size, or I think we'll probably still stick with a tour quarter or so.
Yeah,
it's a lot. As much as it is fun, it is, as Ken said, a lot of work. But it'll be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. And we'll keep growing these cities. Talk to your friends, help them.
Yeah, we did get smarter though. I mean, the first trip was 3 weeks and 7,000 miles. And boy, you want to talk about difficult. Even when I was in places where PAX 8, we were in Denver, and it was like, yep, bye, see ya. As soon as the event was over, we were on the bus and trying to get to the next destination. And I think we got to the next destination by 2-3 o'clock in the morning or something, had some time to maybe sleep. And then we were getting ready for the next day. So yeah, we got a little bit smarter here. Or, I know I'm from Boston, so I'm supposed to say smarter. But I really think every time we do this, we find new nuances and ways to try to make it better, try to make it so that we're not rushing from place to place. This next trip will be a testament to that as we're traveling at night and trying to roll into places, hopefully before morning, and then being ready for the next day. So we have the lunch and learns, and we're available for, obviously some of us will have work to do at certain points in times, and then also have some time for you folks if you want to, see us before an event. But just get to the event. That's the main thing. Don't be afraid. Don't I let us know what your misgivings are. Send us a note and say, hey, this is why I don't think I would go out to one of these. We respect that. For the most part, there's really not a whole lot of reasons not to get out there and say hello and get some questions rolling and just have some fun.
Absolutely. No, and we will all be masked up. I mean, we will all be, plenty of hand sanitizer pumps and everything all at the ready. But, our first and foremost thing with this is safety, right? We're sending our own staff out. Last thing we ever would want is either them or anybody else to get into a bad situation. And that's why we are testing beforehand. We're testing after. We're testing during. We are masks. We are gloves are available. We're doing it all. So we absolutely respect the scenario of what's going on. But we also think that some of the stuff that we saw and some of the connections we were able to make for people had such an impact on the business, that we just couldn't sit at home and not do it again. And the good news is the numbers are going down. We seem to be heading in a better state, knock on wood. And, hopefully it continues that direction. But
change at any second.
It could. It absolutely could, which is the frustrating part. But I'm hoping it keeps going that way.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the partners on the West Coast, and you and I both have some great partners in Texas and New Orleans that we share, and I'm looking forward to visiting them. And this first tour I think is going to be a lot of fun. So looking forward to it. Just a couple weeks out. And one thing I would say is, I know we had a couple of Q&A in the beginning. If anybody has any questions or anything else that they want us to highlight, I always like to pause and just give you a chance to throw that in there, and we'll keep rolling. But if you have anything, just we're keeping an eye on it.
I'm surprised. I haven't seen Brent, the resident regular here, throw out something. He usually has a good little anecdote or something to throw out there.
Nothing this time. Maybe we got busy. But yeah, no, I mean, that's something I'm really looking forward to. The tour bus this time's a little bit bigger, which is cool. Got a little upgrade on the tour bus, which is fun. We have some really great people. I know Nerdio is actually going to join us in Q2. Just really looking forward to seeing their team out. I know we have a couple more teams that are looking to join us later on in the year, potentially. I know, obviously, like we said, not everyone is traveling right now. We totally understand that. Bigger corporations, that's also even harder when you get into the Microsofts and everybody else. But we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. We'll probably be adding more vendors as we go, so keep an eye on the webpage for that. And then the other thing I would say with these are, we're going to keep doing these sessions. These sessions will probably switch over to being on the road, which is fun. Brent is working on a customer, but he is here.
I knew he was here. I just said it's the first time. Brent, we always got to give you a shout out every time. Yeah. I think that. Well, Alec, how about let me turn the chairs on you here for a second. I mean,
Sure.
are you ready? Someone who is definitely familiar with flying all over the world, but are you ready to be on a bus for 2 weeks with a bunch of folks and traveling around? You have anything you're nervous about there, my friend?
I mean, sounds like there'll be good internet access, probably some gin. I think I'll be all set.
Yeah, I think you'll be okay from that standpoint. George definitely made sure there was plenty of internet access. We just have to remember to not download a bunch of videos and pictures during that period of time, or we have to refill fast.
Yeah. No, we for me, I've definitely been a stranger to travel. It's been a little bit. I'll say that. I got on the plane for the first time this year, about 3-4 weeks ago. It's nice to be back. Nice to get on the road again. But yeah, no, I definitely miss it. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we have partners all the time that are reaching out to us from Australia and England, and looking for us to come back out. But we'll be there as soon as we can. But no, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the biggest thing we highlighted a couple times on this call. We all get along really well. We have some great vendors on that bus. I think we'll have a really fun crowd. I think we'll enjoy it. It'll be a lot of work. It'll be pretty long nights with the travel, but worth it in the end. We're gonna do something really cool, and we'll see some really great people. And I can't wait to hear your stories. I can't wait to hear what you're seeing, and if you have some struggles, open up to us. We're here. If you have a product that you see that it's going to be on the tour and you want to talk to those people, or you can use sales training, sport training, whatever it is,
Right.
bring your team out, bring that team, your support, your techs, bring your sales guys, bring whatever. We're here to help. I would rather spend one of my stops taking the time to help out an existing partner get to where they need to be than to just have a bunch of hellos and hand out some food. We're here for you. So,
Well, let's take that a step further, Alec. Just on its most basic level, get your people out. Bring your people out to the event and let them have a little fun. If they're willing to, right? But if you want to get your team out and have them just have a little bit of fun, get your team out to these things. Let them enjoy it. It's not one person per company. It's however many people you want to bring out to the event. Like I said, within our numbers, wherever we're at, but I would strongly recommend bringing out your team and have them come out and just get a little fun. It's nice to maybe get a break from doing even if we weren't going through COVID, it's just nice to have a little break from all the work. I'm sure you're all buried in work and your hair's on fire. Take a couple of hours in 1 week and let your people take a couple of hours and bring them out and have a little bit of fun. That's my suggestion, because above all else right now, mental health is at its worst, right? We're trapped, where we don't have anybody to talk to. We may be trapped with the people who are putting us into that mental state. I don't know. So, being able to get out and have just a little bit of fun and a break from the monotony of staring at a screen all day long could be big, could be huge. So really bring people out, bring your family out, bring your company out, just get everybody out there and do your thing. And I think it'll go a long way just from a mental standpoint.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, my heart goes out to Texas right now. I know they're going through a really hard time. That snow the last few days, I have plenty of partners who've been messaging back and forth with, and I know things are tough down there. So I think Texas will be primed and ready for some years and some relax time in a couple weeks here, and can't wait to see them. And, again, that's what this tour is about, right? It's about giving you guys a little bit of a break, but being there for you guys. If your goal is to go there and just hang out and have a good chat and play some cornhole, do it. If you have a mission and there's something we can help you out with, or there's something you're struggling with, bring it out. Let's talk about it. Let's help.
Yeah, 100%. And I would reiterate what Alex said and take it a step further and just say, hey, we're folks in Texas and that area as a whole, we're thinking about you guys. Most of my partners will know that. I mean, we spent the last 2 days reaching out, making sure everybody was safe. I know a lot are without power, which means sometimes they're without heat. So, people joke and say, oh, well, you guys on the Northeast, you get this all the time. Yes, but we have heat. Typically, we don't lose power the way that they did in a sweeping motion. And let's not forget, they don't have big balmy jackets like we do. They're not used to having winter clothes, so they have to bundle up and stay warm. So we are thinking about you guys and girls, and we're hoping that maybe in a month you come out to the event and we see you and we can make you feel a little bit better. And who knows, maybe we'll bring some stuff to warm you up too.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we'll have to change that swag order to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really good. And, again, I just think the industry needs it. And, I guess, Ken, one of the last things we'll kind of start to close on is, what city are you most excited for? And I know that's totally putting you on the spot. There's a city that will be fun. So what do you think it is?
Oh man, and it's not putting me on the spot so much. I'll speak honestly. I can't say a city, one individual city, and here's why. Especially since the last trip. There's those cities, right? Dallas and New Orleans and anywhere in New Orleans, basically. Places like, San Diego, right? We talk about all these main places that we've been to and say, wow, that was great. Well, last year we went to places like Cleveland and parts of Michigan, and initially you might think Cleveland. I'll tell you right now, there was something cool in every single spot we went to. Cleveland was awesome. Columbus was one that I wish we could have stayed at. We didn't even get a chance to really take in what Columbus had to offer. So it makes it a whole lot harder when you see cities that you've never been to, and go, wow, there's way more here than I even thought there would be. So from that standpoint, it's really difficult. I'll say what I'm looking forward to is going to places that I've never been. That's the way I look. That's the way I would look at it. And right now on this next tour, it's not many because I've been to most of the Texas and Florida spots, and I've definitely
Tampa and Orlando.
but yeah, I really do look forward to seeing places that you wouldn't expect to, and that's not in a mean way. It's just you don't expect it. You don't hear these names pop up when people say, "Oh, what city are you most happy to go see?" I would love to go back and see Columbus with more time, like the time to hang out and check out the scene. Same with Cleveland. Same, a lot of Ohio is just. Other than the one thing I'll say I don't like about Ohio is the roads. I don't know if it was just Ohio. It was a big stretch of roads there where George and I counted easily 100 cars on the side of the road broken down. It was crazy. It was just like, is this a thing here where they just leave them? Because in Massachusetts, they can't be there more than an hour or two and they get taken away. These cars were everywhere. In fact, in one spot, we saw two brand new cars crashed into each other and no one was there. And we're just like, did they just get out of the car and go to the airport and say, F it, we're out of here? I really couldn't put it together. No one's been able to explain it to us. We've asked, we're like, is this a normal thing? But cars were all over the roads and the roads were pretty bad. So maybe they, some of them popped a tire or hit did something that wiped out the car because the roads were all under construction. But the cities themselves were awesome. And I loved being there for the short time that we were there and wish that we could have seen more of those places.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of those experiences over the years where it's, you're right. You're going to New York or LA and everyone's like, ooh, glamorous.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
those off the beaten path ones are the ones that you end up having so much fun in. And that's one of the things I think is tough with our industry because our conference has grown so big. One of the things that, you probably don't know if you don't plan those is once you reach a certain size, there's a handful of cities you can plan in and that's it. I mean, Microsoft really struggles.
I'm not sure if that's, don't even ask Jeff if that's a place or not, because I think I know where Jeff is going.
Microsoft really struggles with WPC every year, right? Trying to figure out a new place for it. Or whatever they're calling now, Inspire. But, they used to move it around a lot. It was a really cool conference. And it used to be so much fun. But, once you reach that size, I mean, it's Vegas, it's Orlando. There's maybe
and I'm not a fan of events in Vegas. I'm just not. I feel like it's away from the whole community piece, and maybe people will think I'm not being honest about that, but I am being 100% honest.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas it's not a great place to have an event. Everybody breaks off and goes to casinos or shows, and you don't have that community. No one's at the bar at the one singular bar where we're all talking and having those conversations, which is, I give credit to like the exchanges of the world where they always try to find some hotel that's so far away no one's going to want to leave it. But it's a big hotel. And when I was an MSP, I used to complain about it, right? I'd be like, oh, come on, we're so far away from this spot, or why can't we go do this? And then I realized after knowing the communities, yeah, Jeff, me too. I miss Exchange. That's where I met a lot of the folks. When you realize why they were doing it, right? It was keeping us together in one place where we could hang out. And as long as there was plenty to do, it worked out well. So yeah, Vegas is not one of those spots. And I learned that on this side of the fence when one of the last events we were there, and I was like, where is everybody? Like our crew were together, but the new people that you want to get to know, there was nobody around.
Yeah, no, I mean, ChannelCon was there just 2 years ago, and
yeah,
great show. Always have a lot of fun, but you're right. I absolutely miss that experience of it, right? You usually go to the bar, and when we do a hotel, like they do their March event in Chicago usually, and the entire hotel is us, really.
Right.
90% of that lobby bar is us, and you can engage and talk to whoever. In Vegas, I mean, they are a drop in the bucket of who's at this hotel. And not only that, but the second that sessions are over, everyone's scattered.
Right.
And we're gone. And And also from a vendor standpoint, you'll never find a table with more empty registration badges than an
Yeah.
event. People
Yeah.
just pick them up.
Yep,
But
that's 100% truth. I mean, so you get it. There's got to be that balance. Yeah, you want to have some places to go and have some fun, but at the same time, make sure that you're making those connections. I think that's the most important thing. Yeah, sure. In some cases, this is maybe part of a vacation, but spend an extra day before or after the event at the place and make that your vacation. But still take time out to go and talk and chat with everybody. And by the way, you'll find that the vendors in the bar area are going to be wide open to chatting about anything. And you may find out something you didn't know if you just take a chance. Like Alex said, if you don't know something's changed at a place, I mean, just look at Microsoft. Even in the last year, if you were saying to yourself, oh, Intune is so crappy, it's like, no, it's changed so much over the last year. And if you haven't looked at it, you need to, right? Defender, all these things that were changing and evolving. Now, Microsoft's obviously different, but every company has that where you shouldn't hold something against somebody that you haven't talked to in 3 years. That just makes no sense. Even Alec and George have said this to me a number of times, like, man, yeah, 3 or 4 years ago, we were just getting our footing. We were learning, we were changing and evolving. And now we've got all this cool stuff, but we have people that hold us accountable for things we did 2, 3 years ago. That's what these events are about. Find out if things have changed. Talk. You might not even realize the same people who are at these companies are no longer even there. So none of the things are the same.
yeah, I mean, you could have tried Datto back when Austin was hot gluing Legos into it. And I would say that's quite a bit different than the MSP stock ticker company that's before you today. Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
100%. And actually, that's a good point because I remember being at an older event and one of the big MSPs, and I was an MSP, was in my face saying, "Don't go to Datto. I had 7 of their devices, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, yeah, but wasn't that like in year 1? Like, have you looked at them since? I'm coming into this as somebody who's just getting involved and just learning. I see nothing but good things. And then we ended up blowing up this major deal with them and working with some of the, a lot of the original players. you know,
Mhm.
it was a completely different change, right? It was totally different than what they had seen in the previous, whatever, however many years. So you got to keep reevaluating and checking out the solutions to make sure that they're working. And by the way, reevaluating the solutions that you already have. Some of the stuff you might have trusted and was working might not be working as well now. So you got to do that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of the fun things on this tour. I will say, Ken was such an advocate for looking at, who we were bringing in the store, right? And obviously, I've spent a lot of my career working with vendors, but Ken has on both sides, which was really cool and unique for this. And sitting down with Ken and saying, "Here's what I'm thinking about for the boss," and some of my lists, Ken blew up entirely and said, "Hey, we want to bring cutting edge stuff. We want to bring the vendors that people aren't using and should be." And that was a really cool opinion that he put forward on. I'm hearing a lot of my partners here talk about this, or a lot of my partners are loving this, and that was really cool in helping develop out some of the list of the vendors we're going to be bringing on the road with us. So hopefully we'll be able to surprise you with some cool things or some new things. And again, you guys need any information, mspinitiative.com. I know we're in our last minute here, so I'm going to start to wrap up. Quick thing I will say, these are obviously the more conversational, podcast style sessions, but Thursday we'll be back for our normal educational sessions. We got a fun one coming up this week, but it's every week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Ken's definitely a regular face on this, so tune back in next Tuesday. I'm sure you'll see him again. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on Facebook, LinkedIn. We're all over on both of those. You can always call Ken. Ken, any last comments?
No, man, Alec, great job stepping in for I mean, no one can replace George, but great job stepping in for George. And yeah, I just looking forward to the coming out and doing the Channel Strong tour on the bus for you guys. And we really, really would love to see your faces out there. No BS. You would call me out if I was BS and you get out there. No sales pitch. We're going to have a great time. And I'm looking forward to doing it with Alec this year. So
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait. I'll see you guys on the road. And if not, I will see you guys at the next session. So feel free to reach out in the meantime. Thanks everyone for joining us.